Welcome back, people of the world. It's the Reap the Harvest podcast live show. We're going to be talking about how to deal with stress. Matt Tack back in Michigan, correct?
Yeah.
So he was in Michigan for a week, then left, closed some deals back in Florida. Now he's back in Michigan again. We're going to kick in the intro, and we'll be right back to bring you some Momentum Monday. We back. Yeah, we back.
Yep.
How to deal with stress. It's going to come up in your life, folks, no matter what you're doing. Even I feel like the more I try to avoid stress, the more stressful things are. So you might as well just run through the fire, learn how to cope. I've noticed that sometimes when I'm the most stressed, it's when I'm not taking enough action.
Nuts. I love that, man.
You know what I mean? It's just like I need to be more productive. What I'm allowing this and this and this to jump into my brain and run laps. What am I missing here? What do I need to be doing? What do I need to be focusing on? How do I shift a little bit here right now? My mind's getting off, getting annoyed, getting stressed, getting whatever, emotional about whatever thought that comes through your head. They're just thoughts. Control it, shift. That's what I've noticed a lot of times. It's time to get busy, you know?
Right. Yeah, man. It's so with me, I love learning. I don't know if anyone's ever if you guys haven't picked up on that already. I love learning about just whatever. And so I was on a flight coming back. My dad and I are gonna be we're just gonna be golfing a little bit, enjoying some time up in northern Michigan. So anyways, but I love learning about things. And what I found on Delta Airlines, they had these really cool linked learning. And so I was going in there and I was like hitting all these videos and they're like 3 to 5 minutes. And then there was other ones that that were like a little bit more involved. And it wasn't from LinkedIn, but it kind of like was part of that educational process platform that they have. So I'm sitting there watching, just learning, taking notes on stuff. And one of them was stress, how to deal with stress. And how like we as average Americans we're just a very, very undisciplined society. And so how do you become more disciplined? And my level of discipline, albeit I can be much better at time management and discipline overall, but like I'm very self-motivated, health and understanding and getting educated in whatever arena that intrigues me. I'm very, very disciplined in that. And I want to take every action step to move forward. Right. So that's why brain health is a big thing to me. Because, what's the most important organ in your body? Right. My brain. They're all important, but that brain affects every other element, every piece. Right. So you can focus on your heart, but if you don't have your brain, and you're not pushing through the proper to me, it's positivity, just keeping it super simple. If I'm not staying positive, right in my mindset, then none of the rest of my body isn't going to operate. Right.
Well, and how many studies, and we've talked about this before. I mean, there's like studies in medical journal reports that show that thinking positive, smiling, all this stuff, there is a chemical reaction inside your brain within your whatever receptors, your dopamine receptors or whatever it's called, you scientists, all you self-appointed scientists on Facebook know what I'm talking about these days. But there really is a chemical reaction that happens in your brain when you think positive thoughts and when you visualize positivity and success and all this stuff. If you're waking up and you got a negative thought load, you're loading your head with negativity, hopping online, arguing with people, that sets the tone for the rest of the day. Monday, the reason why we talk Momentum Monday, this sets the tone for the rest of the week.
Yeah, so those are called, I'm pretty sure those are called receptors, right? And Dr. Newman calls them ants, right? And he puts all these different things. And in really like layman's terms for everyone. So if you follow Dr. Amen, he's just
I'm going to have to, because the science talk can be hard to digest sometimes.
It is, but honestly, he puts it in like really layman's terms, but he says them like the negative thoughts are ants, right? And those ants are like picking those. How do you redirect those, and how do you take those away? And I talk like it's constant redirection, right? We're talked about a number of things on how you like pivot those negative thoughts to get to your heart of like a grateful attitude. But to stay on point with stress, right? And how to combat stress. I thought these things were really cool. I took a bunch of different notes. I'm only going to go through a couple of them, but check this out, Pat. So you were talking about chemical release in your body, right? When you stressed, so when you're put in any environment where you like have like this state of where your body just feels that, like I hold my stress right here, like the kind of lower part of the cerebral cortex. I get like in my shoulders, like I hold a lot of stress in that area. But that's a cortisol release, right? So that's a chemical
cortisol. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've heard that one.
It's a cortisol release. So there's actually, it's almost like a drug that is released in your body, a chemical reaction that your blood starts flowing. But so what they were talking about, they took this entrepreneur, this girl had 2 startups that she was going through, and they put her through these tests. And they gave her a world-renowned psychologist and a meditation expert. And they did all these different studies, and they put her in very stressful situations where she was like timed. She had to do like math on a time scale. So she had to do like, I don't know, it was like, a 2,998, and then you had to backtrack it like in what is divisible by 7. She had to like think it going through the set. So anyways, she was doing all these things and she was timed. So she was trying to really like kind of fight, okay, what is divisible by 7? And then she also went through an interview where she was constantly being she was either being berated or interrupted or whatever.
They measured this stuff, right?
They measured this stuff, right? And her cortisol levels and where her heart rate went. So her heart rate went from like 60 to 80 when, in these like different states that they were trying to measure. And like, right when your blood starts pumping out more, your blood cortisol comes into play, your blood vessels expand, and it starts releasing more blood supply into your brain too. So what they were saying though is at the end of the day, like how do you treat stress as an ally, right? How do you have mental awareness that stress exists, right? Stress, no matter what, there's going to be all sorts of things in this world that are going to come that we just cannot control. COVID, we can't control it, right? But we can control our hydration levels. We can control that there is going to be stress due to this. And how can we be mentally aware? And the one meditation expert says the best thing you can do yourself is just pause. Just pause and be like, there's stress in my life right now. And why is there stress? And
that can be hard, you guys. That can be hard sometimes when you're go on a Monday, you're catching up with stuff, you're trying to get ahead for the week. You're trying to create, again, like we say, you're trying to create some momentum in your week. So you're pushing. Right. Sometimes people aren't as on the ball on Mondays as other people are. I know, like Sunday, like yesterday, I stayed home and the girls, they all went to the aquarium so I could get a whole bunch of stuff done so that I'm gunning on Monday morning.
Yeah.
So I was almost like yesterday was my Monday already. Yeah. So I'm in the groove already. But so I'm not as stressed as I would have been if I would have not put in that time yesterday. So some of this has to do with how are you showing up when you maybe it would have been convenient to take time away.
Right.
So like yesterday would have been way more convenient to just go look at fish at the aquarium in Dallas or whatever. But I'm like, I should probably stay home and do this and do this and do this and do this. The reason why they were able to go to the aquarium in the first place is because I was handling those things for months and months and months and months and months and months prior to that day anyway. So that stuff has a factor in it too.
Okay, so that's actually a really, really good point, because now we go into step number 2, right? So acknowledgement, awareness that stress exists. How can stress be high when those cortisol levels start going through? And regardless, it's going to be present. So you got to be aware of it. How can you really maintain those, right? When your adrenaline's pumping, those cortisol levels increase. If you're aware of it, you can utilize it as your ally, right? You can, oh, wow, I can be present, aware with it, and then I can drive forward. The
Right.
reappraisal step is number 2. This world-renowned psychologist, she calls it the reappraisal reappraisal step. But she asked herself this question, right? What is the underlying reason of why I care, right? That goes back to the vision, right? So why did you tell your wife and your kids no to the aquarium, albeit it would probably been awesome to be part of the family?
Right.
What was the purpose, right? Or why? Are you maintaining capacity now throughout the work week where I can be present with the kids Monday through Friday instead of that one day?
Right. Like our morning this morning was way better because that stuff was done.
Massive, right? Has a massive
See,
impact.
so I had to kind of balance that. But yesterday from 11 to 4 or whatever, I had to put that time in so that this morning from 7 to 10:30,
Right.
that 3.5 hours had to just be shifted.
Huge.
It had to be put in yesterday to open up this morning, and then I can handle the rest of the day too. So, you have to, like you said, how I knew that the stress of Monday would be way more overloaded if I didn't put that time in yesterday.
Dude, that's where we go back to our previous episode, brain health, right? You cognizant of brain health. Is this decision today going to give me added stress this week if I don't do it right now?
Mm-hmm.
That level of brain health, cognitively being aware of, hey, if I get this done now, I'm going to be less stressed tomorrow. So time management is crucial. That's something I struggle with, man. Time management, trying to get all these things in place.
Like a puzzle sometimes, right? Because you're dealing with external variables. What I am, at least, I'm not someone who's just crushing it hard enough to control every single variable yet. So I have to kind of deal with other people's schedules moving around. Maybe they give me some files or something at a time that necessarily isn't convenient for me, but I've got to execute because we've got deadlines. I have to be flexible with that kind of stuff. So opening up other hours by finding time to execute helps me win long term. And I also wanted to say something about cortisol levels that I've been doing. So in the morning, I drink a pre-workout before, and then I walk with the kids in the morning. So what I started doing is I watched this guy. His name is Ben Azadi. If you don't follow Ben Azadi, you gotta follow him. He has a show called The Keto Camp, right?
Keto Camp, yeah.
And it's like, whether you're into the keto thing or not, that doesn't matter. It's the information that I like. I'm not like some kind of keto freak, but I think that the information he presents is solid about nutrition just in general. Anyway, point was, if you wake up in the morning, your cortisol levels are really high. Yeah. Scientifically. So 90 minutes after you wake up is the optimal time to drink your caffeine, because the caffeine binds with the lowering cortisol and gives you a boost, a higher boost in the morning. If you drink your caffeine right when you wake up and when your cortisol levels are high, you don't get the same effect because the hormone is more powerful than the caffeine. So you're almost not even getting an effect from the caffeine. So you see people drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee and they've like, oh man, and they're not getting the same effect. I'm telling you, because I tried this. I'm like, whatever, Ben. I'll put you to the test. And I'm telling you, 90 minutes after you wake up, don't drink caffeine, and then drink it at 90 minutes. I take the scoop of pre-workout, and it's like rocket fuel. So there's another cortisol trick. If you're drinking coffee right when you wake up in the morning and you're not getting a bump from it, and then you're dragging like the rest of your morning, there is that hormone cortisol that's affecting the caffeine coming into your body, and it's making you drag the rest all the way through till the afternoon.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that cortisol stuff is real.
You also want to be careful with that though too. And the reason why I say this, and I'll have to do a little bit more research on that, because the whole thing that you don't want to release those cortisol levels the moment you wake up, or with even in the first couple hours you waking up. That's like not a good thing. And what the phone does, like I'm starting to phase out the phone of being my alarm clock. I'm actually ordering one. It was actually something I learned from an executive where he eliminated his phone being his alarm clock because that actually increases cortisol levels. As soon as you grab your phone, you'll know, everyone has it, an instantaneous level of stress that it brings to you, right?
Interesting.
The first thing you do, check social media, check text, check emails. That immediately is going in, okay, what do I got to do? And you're not
Right.
your brain and your mind kind of like just it went through this cleansing state over an 8-hour period of sleep.
Right.
Letting it organically just kind of like wake up in like a meditation state where then you can drop the cortisol levels. You drop the cortisol levels, throw some caffeine in there. I think that's when you get your bump.
Yeah, that's dope.
Cortisol levels to release as soon as you wake up because you're checking all these different things, right? So those are just some of the things that you want to be mindful of when you're waking up, that you want to let it. But your body just went through a cleansing state. Now,
Right.
get up like after a massage, you're not just like all over the place right away, right? You want to just kind of like decompress for a minute and then get back into your day. But like, so jumping on, so the reappraisal approach is part of that. What is the underlying reason why I care? Tune into the stress, maintaining focus, right? Why am I stressed about it? Acknowledging it. Okay, this is the real one. What do I care about? And is there an opportunity in the stress? I love that. Is there an opportunity? Because if there's no opportunity in the stress, what point is there to care, right?
Right. And that's kind of what I said. If there is an opportunity, let's identify it and then set up some action steps to make adjustments and conquer whatever it is that's bringing you stress. Sometimes it's a fear of action. I've noticed too. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm stressed out, dude. I got all this stuff I want to do, but it's like, well, once I start doing it, that stress starts to become eliminated the more and more I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I read I'm a phone junkie. There's my G-rated word I was looking for. I'm a phone junkie. So I'm always on the phone because I have to run social media for this. I have to download podcasts for this and upload this and do that. So I run a social media business essentially. And so I'm always on the phone. So I see all kinds of headlines and stuff that I might not necessarily want to read. And so then I end up reading the article. And then, if you're a journalist, generally you want to write it in a way that gets to your fan base. You know what I mean? Right. So most journalism now is written towards a certain fan base, which is fine. Just like musicians write songs for certain fans. So, some of that stuff annoys me a little more than other. So instead of getting mad about it or stressed out about it, I started screenshotting the wacky articles that made me a little crazy and then just making fun of them on video. I did on Friday, because then it eliminates any kind of feeling or emotion that I had towards any of that. It just eliminates all of it because I'm laughing at it.
Yeah.
So then it takes the power away from the article or the journalism that I didn't maybe necessarily think was the greatest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, that's where you're creating the opportunity in the stress, right?
Right.
So, but a lot of people, it's when you ask that question, there's this also to think about, right? Typically, our self is our biggest inner critic, right?
Well, and a lot of people don't want to say, hey, I got a problem with this, or I need to work on that, or man, I could really do this better, because then you have to admit that you're not perfect. And social media, we live in a day and age where we want to look perfect all the time. And I'm just going to let you guys know it's impossible.
Yeah. Actually, I posted something today.
That is stressful in itself, trying to look perfect all the time. Good luck with that one.
It honestly went through my head, and I'm like, dude, like, what am I trying to do? So I was swinging the golf club, and I put myself on a video because
you want to know how imperfect you are. Film your golf swing.
I meditate, this is my meditation level, right? So I put a video on it, and I was gonna cut the video because I chunked the first shot. I completely the first shot. And I'm like, dude, Like that's me. Like, what am I trying to show? Like that.
If you ain't chunking shots on the golf course, you ain't playing golf.
Yeah, you aren't playing golf. But I mean that's it, right? I'm not gonna edit the video because I can't. Like, hey, dude, I chunk shots all the time.
That's why I love a good scramble, because I can chunk like 16 to 20 shots, but my 4 good ones, they counted for something. They mattered.
What I love about golf is a lot like life, right? You got to aim at something ahead, right?
Oh yeah.
You got to hit the ball to get there, and it might take you 15 swings, it might take you 4 swings, you might get a hole in one, but you got to take the shot, right?
Right.
So I love that. But so the last thing, so self-judgment is a huge thing, and you got to dictate those decisions, right? Because a lot of the false, we always talk about, the reticular activating system, you're redefining your level of truth, but you got to dictate that what truth looks like, right? And you can't let self-judgment or somebody's perception of you dictate what the actions you're going to make. And like, why bind yourself with that stress? Because there's no opportunity in that stress, right? You got to create that action. Pat talks a lot about action. So the last thing, meditation is key, right? Meditation. And it came back, this whole thing came back to like brain health at the end of the day. And it was just an ask, right? It was an ask of yourself, like when you wake up in the morning, may I be stress-free? May I be my best today? Today's going to be a great day. But you have to truly believe that. And then when you lay down your head at night, it's the same thing. It's like, man, today was a productive day. And these are the things that I knocked out. Maybe you jot down a few things. Maybe it's only one thing that you got produced for that day, but then maybe tomorrow's 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, that you're constantly creating that action and that momentum going forward. So now we're going back to Momentum Monday.
That's right.
Be our best today. That's what I learned this weekend.
I love that. That was good. Because, man, letting that stress control you this week, I mean, that stress ain't going to bring you guys results. You got to figure out where it's coming from, identify it, and create an action plan. So, Matt, you tear it up out there in Michigan. He's back for the 2nd time this month, folks. Just dominating, cross-country domination from Matty Matt.
We got that deal coming up in Granville. We're raising some money for. We're really excited about that. So we're just repositioning the tenant base up there, and we got some big things going on in the apartments. And so I got to do the back and forth, but that's the beauty
of the
game. Real estate is that I just got to be in the game.
That's right. It's a beautiful thing. Matt, you have a wonderful Monday, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Hope you got some positive value.
Like my page, please. I appreciate you guys listening. Have an awesome week.
Whoop, whoop.